Lovely. Right. Let's get all our tech in order. And then we can get cracking. Just going to give it another minute or so while people are joining. Double check everything. If everybody's okay to pop themselves on mute, I would much appreciate it, just so we're not disturbing anybody else from making sure everyone can hear me. Amazing. Right, I'm going to get cracking because you're all here to talk about digital producty stuff, and I'm ridiculously excited. So I'm going to apologise in advance because I do fling my arms around in the air a lot because I get really excited about other people's businesses. If you've got questions, please, by all means, throw them in the chat box. I'm going to scroll through as best I can at the end. If you've got anything that's absolutely super duper urgent, then please feel free to do the little raise hand thing, and I will try my best to answer questions mid-flow. But obviously I don't want to interrupt other people's learning experience, which is a very posh word for me. But what I do want to do is make sure that everybody who's here today and everybody who's watching on replay is going to get as much out of it as possible. So I'm not going to dilly-dally around. Let's get cracking. Okay. So obviously, you guys have all joined me today because you're awesome rebels, for starters. But the whole idea and the whole premise of today is for me to talk to you about digital producty stuff, and it doesn't have to be scary. That's the most important thing that I want you to take away from today, is that digital businesses don't have to be icky, they don't have to be scary. They can be very, very, very influential. They can give you loads and loads of joy, and they can help you to create or to add on to your existing business. So we're going to talk specifically about lots of areas today, and I'm going to throw a lot of information at you. So if you are one of those people who kind of goes, oh yes, I can do that, go off on an idea, get that idea written down straight away, because there's going to be more coming at you as we go through the process. We're going to very much focus today on not exchanging time for money, because I think it's really important that we all benefit from the time that we have on this earth. We have a very finite length of time on this planet, and I think it's really important that we get as much out of it as we can and not slaving away. So everything that we talk about today is avoiding that exchange of time for money where we can. Everything that we're going to talk about as well is easy. This is not really technical and really fandangled stuff. This is really straightforward stuff that anybody can do. And trust me when I say that, I'm not a techie person. So if I can do it, anyone can. Most importantly, I want you all to be able to walk away from today thinking, haha, I can do this. And to get massive, massive joy out of what you're doing and what you're bringing into the world, whether that is a physical product, whether that's from the existing business that you've already got, whether that's an idea that you pick up from today. And I'd love to hear if you do have a success and think, yes, I'm going to do this, and have a little light bulb moment. Please let me know. Drop me a message on social, throw me a DM, send a carrier pigeon. Let me know what you've come up with and what you're putting out into the world, because I'd love to be able to support you to make that happen. So let's start. I probably need to introduce myself a little bit, because otherwise you'll be wondering, who the hell is this woman? I am an ex-rebel. I have been on a rebel course thanks to my wonderful friend who recommended Rebel to me a couple of years ago, and I am a huge advocate of Rebel and everything that they do. So I've been there, I've done that, and I've been on the course. My business is about productizing brains. So all the awesome stuff that goes on in your head, we can make into something that other people can buy. That's what I do for a living, and I love it. It's wonderful, and I'm very, very grateful to be able to say that that's what I do. So I'm a bit of a vagabond. In the last 20 years of my career, I have been in the public sector, I have been in the private sector, and I've been in the third sector. So I know a little bit about all of those things and about running an online business as well. So I'd like to think that those skills have come together to be able to allow me to help people. Most importantly, I'm sure that a lot of you will understand that we all have these days, there is some sort of medical thing going on in the background. There is some sort of mental health thing going on in the background. We've all got stuff in our lives. I think that stuff is a superpower, and I use those as part of running my business. But what it does mean is that I don't fit around the 9 to 5. And that's how I ended up starting my own business in the first place, so that it could be flexible around me, my needs, and my family. And I'm sure a lot of you feel exactly the same way. So before we get started, if you want the notes from today, I've set up a little landing page for you, so you can go away, give me your name and your email address, and I'll fling those notes straight across to you. So if you go to joelleburn.com/rebel, you can get hold of today's notes. So what it means is, if there's something that you miss, obviously you can catch the replay as well. But if there's something that you miss, by all means, you can look those notes up, and it might mean you don't get as much handache from taking notes today. So before I start throwing ideas at you, the most important thing that I want to share with you is a little bit about the ick factory. If you search for passive income online, it's horrible. It's awful. Don't do it. The amount of spam and horribleness that goes around the internet that is relating to these so-called passive income streams is terrifying, and it can really put people off. And it's one of the reasons why I try not to use that when I'm talking about what I do for a living. So we talk about digital businesses, we talk about courses and memberships and affiliate marketing and all these lovely stuff that I'm going to talk to you about today. But there's still a lot of skepticism around it. So what I want you to understand before we start anything else is to perhaps maybe realize that there is a little piece of the pie that might just be for you. So the thing that most strikes me about the current economy and what we look like is that out of every person out there that you walk past on the street, 1 in 3 is actually an online shopper. So that people are using the internet all the time now. It is not something that's going to go away. If anything, it's going to keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and that is rolling all the time. So that's something to keep at the back of your mind when you start to have those doubts in your head that go, everybody's doing this. Trust me when I tell you, not everybody's doing it, but everybody's buying it. So please bear that in mind as you move forward throughout this process. These days, we moan and we roll our eyes about things like TikTok and YouTube and these Instagram reels and all this wonderful social stuff that we've got on, that we spend our time glued to our phones, glued to our devices. But actually, 60% of people who are using platforms like that are actually learning stuff, believe it or not. We are learning new things from this stuff, and it's called micro-learning. And that micro-learning is something that you can contribute to. There is no reason at all why you can't contribute to a society who is actually learning. And when there are 60% of people out there that are absorbing content like that, there is no reason at all why you can't then benefit from that as a business owner. E-learning was a thing that was once referred to where you'd go to work and you'd rock up to your office job and be told that you've got to do an e-learning course about health and safety so you can get a tick in a box, or you've got to do this for this reason. But it's become much more than that, and it's snowballed to the point now where it's an industry all in its own right, and people are creating courses, memberships, subscription models all the time, and it has become this enormous pie, and there's absolutely no reason at all why you can't take a slice of that. Everyone who creates things that go on the internet or go online or are digital are known as creators, and the creator economy itself is valued right now at over 100 billion, and that is growing and growing and growing. And the reason why I'm telling you this stuff is not to dazzle you with facts and figures or make you think, oh, I'm so small. This is about you understanding that this is an opportunity that can be grasped with both hands, and there is absolutely no reason at all why you can't do something to contribute to this beautiful economy that is happening right under our noses, whether we like it or not. So I want to start by separating you into two camps. I'm not physically going to ask you to move across the room, don't worry. What I am going to ask you to do is to think about these specific things as we go through the rest of the process today. I want to think about your own personal direction of travel. So where you are right now. So are you in a position where you want to create a brand new spanking business from scratch? You've got nothing, no ideas, maybe you've got an inkling, but you haven't done anything with any of that yet. If that's where you are, and that's the position that you're in right now, what I want you to do is to, during this process, let your imagination go, oh, wow, I could do this. Wow, I could do that. I also want you to be massively passionate about whatever idea it is that you settle on. The reason for that is, if you are not hugely passionate about what you choose to do, and if you do it for the wrong reasons, perhaps maybe because you think it's going to be fast cash, or because you think that it's going to be easy peasy, perhaps maybe they're not the right reasons to go into this. You need to be massively, massively passionate about what you do. Because if you don't care, no one else does, and you ain't going to sell a sausage to a soul. So please, please make sure that whatever it is that you decide to go ahead with, if you do decide to do it, that you really care and that you can really, really put some proper passion into what you do. I also want you to think really carefully about how you can do your thing, whatever your thing becomes, how you can do that in a cost-free way. Right now, what's going to be the easiest way to get cracking and get started with this? So that's for those people that are in the create a new business camp. For those people who already have an existing business, I want you to think very carefully about who you talk to right now, who your social media stuff talks to, who your marketing talks to, who you already sell to. Think about those existing customers. They are going to help you to create your new thing. Believe it or not, those people are actually very useful, apart from giving you some money. They are very useful to give you ideas. And I want you to think about two different elements of what those customers are and what they do for you and what they look like. I want you to think about what they might need from you before they actually buy your thing. Whatever your thing is right now, whatever your business is selling, what might they need before that? Or what might they need after that? And I'll talk to you a little bit more and give you some examples about that as we move forward. I also want you to think about those people that are hanging around on the outside of your business. I call them periphery customers. So they're there, they're hanging around, and we're not talking about your next door neighbour and your mother-in-law who support you, woohoo, but they're not really your ideal client, are they? What we're talking about is these people that are hanging around on the outside of your business and they're not buying from you, but they have a reason. And usually that reason is because they're DIYers. They want to do whatever it is you're teaching them or telling them or selling them. They want to do it themselves. It could be that logistics are a problem for them. It could be if you're selling one-to-one time between 9 and 5 in Greenwich Mean Time, and they're in Australia, but they can't buy your thing. How can we make that happen for them? How can we sell your thing to them? Could be, from a logistics point of view, could be that postage and packaging to France is really expensive. And so logistics are getting in the way of you being able to make those sales. Or it could be affordability. Is it that the stuff that you're doing, whether you're selling a product or selling a service or selling your brain in consultation-y, coachy type thing, is it that what you're doing is great for your existing customers, but some people can't quite afford that? Can we create something for them? And those are the questions that I want to keep at the front of your mind as we move through this process, because they're really going to help you to make a decision about what is best for you as we go into the world of selling solutions. Now, to make this as easy for you all as possible, I have separated all the digital wonders of the world into 3 separate categories. And this will hopefully make things a little bit easier for you, whether you're thinking creating a new business or whether you're adding on to your existing one. So we're going to sell solutions, okay? Could be that you sell or are planning on selling a product solution, an actual real life thing that I can hold in my hands. Great. And we're going to talk a little bit more about drilling down into the digital aspects of that. Could be that your solution to the problem that you found could be a community solution. So we're going to think about facilitating a space for that as well. And again, I'm going to go into more detail on each of these topics. And finally, it could be that you're selling an expertise solution. So you know a thing and you want to share your knowledge with the world. And it's not to tell everybody how damn smart and fantastic you are. This is about making sure that you can educate people. There's a story about a guy who was done for fraud in America. I don't know what the proper Americanism for it is, but he was done for fraud for pretending to be a professor at a university. And a lot of people turned around and said to me, how did you get away with that for so long? And he said, because I was always a page ahead of my students. This person had zero clues apart from the fact that he was a few pages ahead of his students. If you are a few pages ahead in whatever topic, you can sell your expertise to people because they are grateful to have somebody like you explaining it to them. So expertise solutions are selling what you know, what you're a bit ahead of, or some information that you've got that you think is going to come in handy to other people. So let's start with the products. All right. With products, if you've got an existing business or you're thinking about creating a business, you've got that traditional route to market. Okay. So you can create your lovely little product all for yourself. And you can sit at your kitchen table or in your fancy kitchen that you've hired out, or you can sit in your dining room or whatever you want to do and create your thing. Alternatively, you can find a supplier of the thing that you want to sell, or you could even white label it, private label it, and get something that someone else is selling, stick your branding on it and go, boom, that's mine now, and come to a deal and a partnership with them there. So that's a way of getting a real life product into the market. You can then go ahead and sell that stuff on an online marketplace, which people do a lot. Or you can figure out how to get into shops and do the whole Dragon's Den thing. Get Tuka on your side and get pointing in the right direction and get all on the shelves of all these fancy big chain stores. However, if you're in a position at the moment whereby you have a product, or you think a product would complement what you're already doing, or you think that you've got a business idea that you're thinking, yeah, that particular product could sell really, really well, I want you to consider either what your customers might need from you in terms of, do they need something else as an addition? So my beautiful example here is jewelry makers. You've got a lovely bunch of customers that are buying beautiful, beautiful pieces of jewelry from you. But what else do they need? They need somewhere to put the jewelry. They need a product to clean the jewelry with. They want accessories to go along with whatever it is that you're creating. You can see where I'm going here. There's always a little bit of something that we're missing, and we're thinking about the before and we're thinking about the after. So if you're thinking about starting a new business and you're thinking, yeah, I'm going to go and sell this product, think about the outline and what else people might need from you. And that's really going to help you, because you don't have to then go down that traditional route of getting a product and putting a load of stuff under your spare bed and spending $5,000 on a load of things that you then have to postage and pack and send out yourself. There are ways of doing it online. So you can add these things onto your business, or you can replace what you're doing with these methods. Affiliate marketing. I say affiliate marketing, everybody runs for the hills with their arms flailing in the air. Run away. It's not that scary. Affiliate marketing is linked to the thing that we all do when we all sit there pressing accept on cookies on the website. It essentially leaves, it's like somebody going along with a biscuit and they go, and they leave a trail behind them of where they've been. Now, if you become an affiliate for a company selling a product that you know that your customers want, then you're going to leave that little trail behind you, or your customer's going to leave that little trail, and it's going to lead back to you. And so the company, let's pick a supermarket chain, Asda. Asda are selling this particular cleaning product. You have a professional cleaning business, and you recommend to your customers that in order to maintain the fabulousness that you've created in your customers' world, that they might want to buy this product. You become affiliated with that product through Asda. You put a little link on a website on a document, on a blog post, on a text message, on an email. There's loads of places where you can share that. They buy your thing, and a little tiny trail of cookies is left behind. And Asda then go, oh, you've sold a thing. Congratulations. Have 10% of how much that customer has paid. It doesn't cost your customer anything extra. And the company, like Asda, are benefiting from you marketing for them for free. And they only actually pay when you've made a sale. So it's guaranteed marketing strategy for them. For you, it's not having a load of stock of a load of stuff that might not sell. It's simply getting paid to make a recommendation. So that's something to think about in terms of starting a business. There are people out there that literally run businesses based on affiliations and making recommendations. They have no products of their own. They just talk about how fantastic other people's products are. So that's an option for you. But if you're actually doing an add-on to your existing business, then think about those things that your customers might need as an extra. What might they need before? What might they need after? And how can you help them to buy that from you? The same applies to Amazon FBA. Now, I'm not an expert on this particular area, but I know it's an option for you. That FBA is fulfilled by Amazon. So what it means is you pay for a load of stock that they're going to stick in an Amazon warehouse, but then they do all the hard work. So if you're already running a product-based business where you're having a product manufactured somewhere and you're at the moment receiving that product in and then organizing the logistics and all that kind of stuff, but you're selling it on Amazon, then use the FBA system to allow them to fulfill it for you. Yes, it's going to impact that top line in terms of how much you're going to receive back, but look at all the time you're creating in your business. You can then focus on marketing and doing other things in your business, working on it rather than in it. So that's something else to think about. You could also white label. So a great example of this is a customer that I had when I first started working in this business, who made the most beautiful mugs. They were absolutely gorgeous, and she used to craft those at home and you know, she'd do loads of lovely fancy stuff with them. And she realized that she was promoting drinking hot beverages. So she got a company who made coffee to white label her own product. And so she had her own product under her own branding that was her coffee. And so she sold that as part of her business model. And again, this is the same type of thing that you can do. Think about what else is out there. And is there a company out there already making it that would be happy to go into partnership with you so you can stick your label on it and you can sell it under your branding? They benefit, you benefit, and your customer benefits. There's also print on demand, which is, it works for publishing. So you can go off and publish a book if you want to. And instead of having 6,000 under your spare bed or in your shed, you can literally put it on the internet and it will only be printed when one's sold. And it's automatically shipped out to your customer. Great. Absolutely brilliant, because it means that you don't have any expense up front. And it also means that you can access an audience on a company like Amazon or on, there's a brilliant self-publishing website that I really like called lulu.com, which puts you on all of the different book selling websites just by uploading your book to them. So print on demand doesn't just have to be about publishing, it can also be about merchandise. And you can, if you're an artist or a graphic designer or somebody with a real artistic flair, perhaps maybe you're a surface pattern designer, perhaps maybe you've got that kind of element there and you spend your time creating one-off pieces and then selling them. Well, uploading your stuff onto product then allows you to be able to have an online shop of all these lovely, lovely things that you don't have to be storing under your spare bed or in the shed, that are literally going to be bought from you, printed out by that company. So it's all managed by them, and you can then wash your hands of it entirely. And essentially, once you've actually uploaded that, and when you're doing your marketing, becomes a fairly passive income stream. The other way to think about providing people with a physical product is dropshipping. Now, again, this is another one of those that's got a bit of an ick factor around it, because you see some videos that are a little bit like, ooh, this is a bit gross. You know, we're talking passive income and making people's toes curl a little bit. But actually drop shipping is a brilliant way of creating a product-based business where, again, you don't need stock and you are partnering with a company who are going to do all this stuff for you. You essentially create the space, you create the shop, and everything that's in that shop is provided by a different company. So drop shipping works whereby somebody places an order with you, and let's say it's a £10 order. That's what you're charging for your product. It's £10. You receive that £10. The order goes away to the drop shipping company. The company create the thing and send it out. Same happens with print on demand. But they charge you £6. They send it to the customer. The customer's paid their £10. You've received the £10. You've then paid £6 for the product, which means that you've made a £4 profit without lifting a finger. So that's what drop shipping is in a very basic nutshell. But that's another way of getting products out into the market that's an actual product without you having to worry too much about storing things, big upfront investments, and all that kind of stuff. This is about marketing and creating a space where your customers feel safe to buy from you. And you can do that through all those different ways. So as I asked you to do before, I want you to think about, if you're an existing business owner, what else might your customer need and how can you get that to them? If you're creating a new business and you're thinking, yeah, I'm going to do this, what could you sell? That perhaps maybe rather than having to create a product yourself, you could maybe use one of these other methods to provide that product to your customers. Okay, so let's talk about communities. They're awesome. And as human beings, we have an intrinsic need to belong. Now, you think, I know that you'll all be going, what about that hermit that lives on the hill? What about that hermit that lives on the hill? That hermit that lives on the hill has chosen to belong to their own space. So even though they don't have a sense of belonging with other human beings, they have a sense of belonging in whatever it is that they've created for themselves. We create our environments, and as consumers and as human beings, we will happily buy into a community if it solves a problem for us. So we talked earlier about the fact that we are selling solutions to problems, and a community can solve many a problem, but not Maria. Sorry, terrible reference. I will not ever do that to you, any of you again. So let's talk a little bit more about community solutions. Okay, community provides all of us with a sense of belonging. It provides us with a space where we feel like we can enjoy. Perhaps maybe it provides a safe space. Maybe it gives us social approval. Perhaps maybe it's comfort or protection, fear reduction or freedom from fear. Perhaps maybe it gives us some sense of comfort and survival. There's lots of different words that we can attribute to a community solution. So when you're thinking about what you could do for your business, do you have a group of people who need you to support them with fill in the gap? So perhaps maybe we could think about people who are vintage car owners. I'm literally plucking these ideas out of the air right now. So watch me go. Vintage car owners, they have a common theme, a common group of people that all have a love of the same thing. So what could we do for those vintage car owners? Well, we could bring them all together into a space where they can really talk about the really nerdy stuff that they really love to talk about, that their friends just don't fully understand. So they could have a sense of belonging there. And I'm going to go through and use this example as we move through these different ideas. It could, if we created a community space for those vintage car owners, we could provide them with a sense of support for each other if they have got stuff going on, they need to talk about something, or, you know, perhaps maybe my husband doesn't understand my love for my 1942 Mini. Please, you know, they've got that area of where they can go and be understood and be felt like they can have some sort of support with an ongoing problem. They can also discuss things and they can have open discussions about things that they are specifically passionate about. They can use that space to diagnose a problem. So again, diagnosis is probably a bit of a strong words, because unless you're a medical professional, please don't go around randomly diagnosing people with problems. But what you can do is diagnose problems that you're an expert in. So perhaps you are an expert in 1942 mini engines. Let's diagnose the problems that your people are coming to you with and create a community space whereby they can actually use that as kind of almost like an insurance policy. That would be a great insurance policy for me if I was a vintage car owner and I needed some help. Let's use a different example. Let's say that you're an expert in social media. You're really brilliant at Instagram, but you know there's a hell of a lot of people out there that aren't. Let's provide them with a space where they can get answers from you, where you're available to them, where they can talk to other people, grow and discuss and diagnose where the problems are and be able to fix those. You can also create community solutions that are really specific and very mastermindy. So it's solution driven. So you pull specific people together that have areas of expertise, and you create a space whereby they can share and grow together and create a solution in that way. Perhaps maybe there is some sort of membership option that you could give to them. Are they going to get an exclusive deal if they come and join this community space where they can hang out? Is there something that you could offer if you were buying something in bulk as a business owner? Let's go with tickets. You were buying tickets to events in bulk, but you could then sell them on at perhaps maybe a slightly discounted price to those members. Is that going to be worth something to them? So the idea today, obviously I could use examples for days, but I know that each of you are going to have your own expertise, your own set of circumstances, and your own thing where you think, yeah, that would really work. I'm super passionate about X. I think I could create Y. So I can give you ideas for days, but what it needs to be is something that you are ridiculously passionate about if you decide that a community solution is the right thing for your existing customers or your potential customers if you're thinking about growing a business. The other thing to consider is a subscription. So that's something whereby we're not giving everybody, all the customers, all the things all at once. What we're going to do is drip feed that information to our customers. Now, you could do that in a little membership group on Facebook or on a different platform. There's loads of platforms out there. Highly recommend you use an alternative to Facebook because nobody wants to be at the whim of the social media gods. If you are creating community spaces, please be very thoughtful about where you're creating those spaces. There are loads of other places to choose from without having to create a Facebook group. You could email people a subscription. So if you've got a process that people need to follow, let's go with recipes. If you are somebody who is brilliant at sharing food-driven solutions, then what about a weekly recipe subscription for 3 quick teas that you can create in less than 15 minutes? You create the email, people subscribe to that, and it gets dripped out and dropped to your customers once a week. And so if I join on the 1st of January, I'm going to get my 1st of January, and then I'm going to get one on the 8th, and I'm going to get one on the whatever date, because I'm really not that great at maths. You're going to keep getting that weekly email. But then if somebody comes along and joins you on the 21st of March, they're going to get the information that they got in January, not the 21st of March stuff. All right. So you create this subscription model where you only ever need to be a page ahead, a week ahead of your customers. So is there a system that you could teach people? Is there something that you know people need to know and that they could do that in little bits? Could you drip feed something to them? Or is there something that you know that people need to know, but they don't want to be overwhelmed? They don't want all the information all at once. They don't want a big course. How can we break that down to them? Hints, nudges, reminders, accountability is something you can sell in a community. Sometimes people just need telling. Sometimes they just need a space where they can go, yep, I'm going to do this thing. And those people in that group are going to go, did you do the thing? And everybody goes, no, I didn't do the thing. And you've got that sense of accountability. People will pay to have accountability. They will pay for a companionship as long as it hits the nail on the head. Now, the thing about community solutions is the more niche you get, the better. The riches, as the Americans would say, the riches are in the niches. We say niche, so I'm going to stick with niche, thank you very much, because it sounds better in my Yorkshire accent anyway. But what you need to do is really drill down into the needs of that customer base that you're creating for. And I want you to think, what is the easiest thing for my customers, for me to create for them? How is it going to solve their problem, and what can that look like? So that's selling community solutions. The last thing I'm going to talk to you about is expertise solutions. Now, this is the bit where we're talking about productizing your amazing brain and all the wonderful things that you know. Incredibly, incredibly important to know that what you know is valuable. Please never let anybody underestimate the stuff that you have learned in your life, the skills that you have. They are valuable, and they're not just valuable in a one-to-one exchange. You can create value, and you can productize that lovely knowledge and create something lovely that you can sell to other people. So the thing about selling expertise solutions is this is slightly different from our other two solutions selling. We have two steps to this one. Step one is we package it up. So let's talk about the package in which we can put our expertise. So you can deliver expertise in person. I'm doing that right now. Not really, because even though I'm in person, I'm not really there in front of you live. So consider that that might be something that you could do. Could you stand on a stage in front of lots of people and talk to them about it? Could you go into someone's office building and teach them how wonderful it is to, I don't know, do some stretches? I don't know. Is that something that would work? You could pre-record the information that you have in your amazing brain, and that doesn't have to be video. You can do that in audio. So if you just need to be inside someone's head, does your mush need to be involved in that process? Possibly not, because that might be easier for me as your customer to consume that information with you just in my ear rather than in my face. So is that something that you can think about? Digital live delivery, that's what we're doing right now. So I'm here live in front of you, lovely people, delivering some information to you. So that's something that you can do for other people. You can allow them inside the inner workings of your mind. Be very careful how far you let people in, but you can deliver them with information, perhaps maybe on a regular basis. And you can team that up with community as well if you wanted to. So think about those subscription models that we were talking about earlier. Could you bring people together maybe once a month? Is that something that they need? You can do things in workshops, in group classes, pull groups of people together in community and charge them for the pleasure of not only being in that community space, but also learning a skill, getting some knowledge from you, productize what's in that head of yours. Could also think about teaching people one-to-one, tutoring, guiding people in a particular topic, a particular area. Could you teach what you know? Could it be written down? Is this something that you could write a book on? Is this something that perhaps maybe would work really well in loads of printable PDF-y type documents? Is it something that you could break down into a format, into a process and email out to people? What's the best format for what you're selling? And what is the best format for the people that are learning from you? They're the two things that you've always got to bear in mind when you're thinking about what package you're putting stuff in. Graphics, brilliant way of explaining things to people. Absolutely great. Infographics, designs, all that kind of stuff. We buy things like that all the time. There are marketplaces out there in the world where designers and creators will go and buy clip art and prints. There is a whole industry where people go away and buy surface patterns so that they can then put those onto materials and fabrics and all this other merchandise and things. And this fashion industry use those prints. Is that something that you could do? Is that something that you could sell in a digital way, where you create a design once and you sell it time and time and time again? Could you put these things together? Could you combine some of these things where you do some stuff in person and some stuff written and some stuff is in your ear and some stuff's on your screen? Could you do some stuff that's a picture? Could you do something that's maybe some one-to-one work? Could you do it in a hybrid way? So today, I could have been stood in a room and had 20 people in the room with me, but also had all of you lovely lot with me on Zoom. Is there a hybrid method to get more bums on seats, to channel as much out of what you're doing as possible and to impact more people? Because the more people that you impact, the more pleasure you are going to get from what you do. Again, when you're thinking about selling a solution that's an expertise solution, that's something in your brain, is it right for the customer? You don't want to be selling busy commuters a 3-hour course where they've got to sit at the laptop and do it. That's no good. But if they're going to spend 20 minutes or 25 minutes on a train every morning, break down that information that you're teaching them, get them into 10-minute audios that they can listen to on the train, make a quick note, boom, you've done a lesson every day. And so in a week, you've learned a thing. Think about who you're selling your thing to, think about what you're teaching them and what's going to be the best way for them to learn that stuff. So that's the package. So we've kind of done this back to front. We've kind of done the bow and the package and the fanciness first. What is inside the package? So this is your delivery method. How can we get this stuff out to people? And again, please think very carefully about your customer all the time. That's the first and foremost thing. I've touched already on drip feeding content. So giving somebody something just a little bit at a time. That's something to think about. Are we going to overwhelm people or give them analysis paralysis if you are giving them lots and lots of information all at once? Are we going to scare the hell out of them? Or are we going to drip feed it to them and ease them into a process? We wouldn't give primary school children a GCSE paper and all the information they need to get to it all at once, would we? We drip feed that information to them. The same goes if you're teaching somebody a skill, or if you're teaching somebody a methodology, or if you're educating people around a particular topic. Drip feeding is often a good thing to do. Micro information is a great way of talking to people. So think very carefully about what that solution is going to look like and whether or not that's the right delivery method for you. Could you create a subscription model? So again, subscriptions could be, they could allow you to create something whereby you've got regular income coming into the business all of the time. If you have something that you know that people are going to need on a regular basis, then really think carefully about whether or not a subscription would be the right thing for them. Would that be easier for them rather than coming to you every 6 weeks? Like I have to go up to Pets at Home to buy my dog food, my special dog food, every 6 to 8 weeks. What Pets at Home have done have gone, hang on a minute, Joelle, don't you worry about coming and buying your product every 6 weeks. We will put a subscription on it. And they've even incentivized that subscription by offering me a teeny little discount if I subscribe. So once I've subscribed, I know that I'm guaranteed every 6 weeks that my dog food's going to land on that doorstep. If it doesn't, there's a problem with my subscription. But it makes my life easier as a consumer. And wow, does it make their life easier? Because they can predict that every 6 weeks until what happens to my dog, guaranteed that they're going to have my cash in their bank. So is that something that you can do to incentivize your customers to get money in the bank every single month, to get that regular? Subscription models are massive right now. We all have them, from the way that we consume data, as in, you know, we stream all our movies and stuff now. I don't know anybody who watched a DVD lately, because we stream that content now through our devices. So is there a way that you can help people to stream content from you, whether that's a physical thing or whether that's information? Could it be process-led? So could it be that you know that somebody's really great at this thing and they're going to get even better at it by following a particular process? So let's say, for example, there's the old joke, isn't there, about somebody who was playing the guitar or playing the piano. It was an old sketch. It was playing the piano and it was an old skit. And they said that they were playing all the right notes, but just in the wrong order. That is the type of thing that I want you to think about. Is, do you know people out there that are doing all the right things and they're pulling all the right strings or they're playing all the right notes? They haven't got them in the right order, and you found the key to getting them in the right order. I found the key to never ever having to lose anything ever again. I live my life through my label maker, and so does my child, and so does my husband. And now we never lose a thing. And did you know we saved approximately 5 months of our lives by not looking for things that are missing? So I have a solution to that, and it's a process-led solution. Everybody knows that they're going to lose the keys at some point. I could sell that solution to everybody. It's very obvious as that one's a bit crap, but you know what I mean when I talk about things that are process-led. Is there a process out there that you see people doing really badly and you have the key? You've got the secret. Oh, I'm doing it again. I'm so sorry. I'm singing songs. Is there a membership experience that you can create for somebody? Again, memberships could be community-based, but they can also be information-based. So they're perhaps maybe on a subscription model, perhaps maybe they're paying every month to be able to access whatever it is that you've created for them. Personally, I have a little school. It's called the Passive Business Academy, and you can come in, you can learn about all these different things, and it's just a monthly subscription, and it's up to you. It's a membership. It's a space where people can come, they can learn stuff, and they can leave if they want, they can stay if they want. There's always new information happening all the time. It's like a little school. So that's a membership model that you could think about doing for your own business. Content libraries are something else that's worth thinking about. You can basically pull together lots and lots of different things that people can access. You create your own library of stuff. Swipe files. If you write things or you design things and you want to share that stuff, then share that. Again, share it on a subscription, share it in a community, share it in a membership, share it as a one-off downloadable digital product. That's something else to think about too. Guides teach people how to do things in a step-by-step way, but do it in a written format. Books. We talked earlier about print on demand being an option for self-publishing. It's free. Don't pay for it. If you want to put a book out into the world, the word is that there is a book in all of us. And if you think that that's something that you want to do, then get onto those websites, get onto Amazon, get onto lulu.com, Ingram Sparks, all those other self-publishing sites, and do it. And it doesn't have to cost you a penny. Go on there. And if you're creating a print book, please, 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 if you've already created the content, do an ebook too. Why wouldn't you? Repurpose that content from one place to another. And let's go as far as, if you've done it in a print, why would you not do it in an ebook? Why would you not create the audio to go along with it? If you're not comfortable reading your own book out loud, get someone else to do it. That is something else to think about as well. Go into partnership with somebody who's got a gorgeous voice and have them do it for you. Obviously, each of these things have got their own little rules, but if you're doing one, do all three, because why wouldn't you provide that access to people and let people have access to that stuff? There's also digital downloads that you can think about. And again, these can be anything from images to PDF documents that talk you through things, videos, audios, podcasts with extra add-ons. So you get people through the door by listening to your podcast, and then you get them to upgrade and they get an exclusive. And there's all these wonderful, wonderful things that you can do with digital. But you need to find a niche to sit in first. So find that thing that you're passionate about and make that happen. If you've got an existing business, how can you further help your clients? If you're already selling information, how can you translate that information into a different format so that you can reach more people, overcome those logistics, those price barriers, and those DIYers who want to learn to do it themselves? The other thing that you can start looking at, if you're technically minded, is things like software as a service and software with a service. That's where you create a piece of software that does a job, and that becomes the service that you charge for. Alternatively, you create a piece of software that does a job, and then you add a service onto it that helps to support whatever that software does. So there are lots of different options out there for you. And I have never, bar one time, come across a business that has approached me and said, hey, Joelle, what can I do? There's only ever been one time where I haven't been able to help a company. And that company came to me and they made those little barriers that go around the manhole covers that you could potentially fall down in the street. So if we take the lid off that hole in the floor, that little drain cover, we could fall down that, and that would be terrible. So they create these little barriers while there's a person in the hole doing the digging or doing whatever work they do. That company made those little barriers, and for the life of me, I couldn't think of how to help them to create a digital product, because I think people pretty much know that they shouldn't fall down holes. But otherwise, everybody else who has ever come to me, no matter what their business, can guarantee that there is something digital that you can use to either enhance what you're already doing, to help your customers, or to create an entire new business right from scratch. So I'm going to fly through the comments, the chat section, to see if there is anything at all that I can pick up on in terms of answering questions. Please do go to joelleburn.com/rebel and get the notes from today, because I've rambled and I've given you lots and lots and lots, and I'm hoping some of it's stuck. I hope it's not a spaghetti at the wall situation. I hope some of it has been helpful and you've had a moment where you thought, hey, yeah, I could do that, because that is definitely an option for you. So bear with me while I fly through the chat and make sure that there is nothing I've missed. I will be getting a look at this later on. So if there is anything I do miss, I will try my best to find you on social media or something. Connect with me on LinkedIn. You can find me hanging out on LinkedIn and Twitter. So please do connect with me in those spaces. And if I don't answer your question, please find me. Hunt me down and I will answer your question.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Joelle. I also wanted to put in the chat, just if you guys can take like 2 minutes to click on that link and give us feedback. Joelle would be very appreciative of that. And also any, just to make sure these masterclasses carry on, we do need feedback. The presenter wants feedback, and it's been incredible, by the way. Joelle, I really enjoyed all of my brain went everywhere in terms of thinking about all the things that is possible for everyone to be able to do. So if you guys can take a second to fill out that, it's like 3 questions or 4, I don't remember, but if you can. I think we also have some people that are not rebels, so just wanted to say welcome as well. Thank you so much, Joelle. It has been absolutely incredible. Whoever needs to get the replay, we will share it inside. We'll share the link. I think, what's his name? Ewan can share the link to where the replay will exist, but you also get an email with the replay to everything that Joelle has spoken about. And also, if you go to her link, Joelle, how do you pronounce your last name?
Burn.
But okay.
It was terrible when I worked for the fire service that was my name. I got so much grief for that.
Oh no. Yeah, if you guys go there, I just actually went there and I downloaded the PDF with all the notes, and such incredible stuff. Like I really love it. So make sure you go there and sign up to it. It's super simple and beautiful. Everything's beautiful that you do. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's all, guys. Do you have any questions for Joelle before we head out? Because we've got about 4 minutes. If you have any questions, please feel free to put them in the chat. Otherwise, we'll just like skedaddle out of here. Yeah.
I was just having a look through the chat, and a couple of people have asked about affiliate links and about whether or not you can just become an affiliate for anybody. No, the quick answer is the company must have an affiliate program for you to become an affiliate for them. And the best way is just do the Google. And I think I've seen a few people have actually said that in the chat as well. Google the company that you want to represent. Put in affiliate program or partner program is another keyword that they tend to use for that. The publishing sites that I've mentioned, I've noticed there's loads of people that have been supporting and sharing those links. Thank you very much for sharing the links to lulu.com, Amazon affiliates, all those different spaces. One of my favorite affiliate management platforms is called Awin, which is awin.com. It's a beautiful platform and there are thousands of brands on there. So if you're thinking that might be something that you're going to do, then join that. It charges you £5 to join, and it's to make sure that you're not a spammy pammy, I'm afraid, but it's worth it because you will get it paid back as part of your first affiliate payout. So it's worth a £5 to join and actually have a look there. I think I've managed to cover everybody's questions. Oh, it was Morecambe and Wise. Thank you, Tahir. Thank you so much. I knew there was something with the tinkling on the piano. There was something there.
Somebody's asking about the woo.com. Is it woo.com or what was it that you mentioned? It was a website.
Lulu.com. So it's LULU.com.
Okay, brilliant. There you go. Everybody's like, oh my God, what is it? What is it? Okay, everybody's got it now. Amazing. So we're going to wrap it there. But huge thank you to our rebel, Joelle, for coming here and sharing all of her knowledge. If we can just share your link just one more time. Does anybody have Joelle's link before we skedaddle out of here so you can get those notes? I want to make sure that everybody has that link. There you go, Ewan. Thank you so much. There it is.
Thanks, Ewan.
Somebody just joined right now, Mark. Hi, Mark. Okay, so just before we go, I want to actually share my, there's a WhatsApp group that we have that we just share all of the announcements, all of the information. So I'm just going to copy that link and I'll send this link that Joelle just shared so that everybody has it. So it's a channel that we just tell everybody about everything that's happening with Rebel masterclasses. All of the replay for this, I'll send it in that chat as well. So just put that in there before we go. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. See ya. Bye, everyone.
Bye.